Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Michelle DeBase, Professor and Chair of the Department of Physician Assistant Studies. Welcome to the Arizona School of Health Sciences Physician Assistant White Coat Ceremony for the class of 2023. Would the Physician Assistant class of 2023 please enter? Please be seated. Students, today you will receive your short white coat. This marks your journey towards achieving the long white coat once you graduate. It marks your entrance into a community of healthcare providers. It serves as a symbol of the professionalism, caring, and trust that you must earn from your patients. It stands as a marker of transformation from student to health professional. As you don your short white coat, let it be a constant reminder of the commitment you make today to your future patients, to each other through times of struggle and success, to your faculty, staff, and preceptors, to your families, to our communities, and also to yourselves. I have a great job. I get to work with bright, motivated students, a wonderful administrative staff, and superb faculty. Many of them are joining us here today, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize them. First, Dr. Craig Phelps, A.T. Still University President. Dr. Norm Gevitz, Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs. Dr. Ann Lee Birch, Dean of Arizona School of Health Sciences. Mr. Will Kupal, keynote speaker. I would also like to recognize the members of the physician assistant faculty on the stage party with us today, as well as our staff assisting in the audience. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Dean Ann Lee Birch. Dr. Birch?
Class of 2023 PA students, PA faculty, Dr. DeBase, and family and friends who are here and watching today, thank you for the opportunity to say a few words as you receive your white coats. I am not only excited about the future that lies ahead for you, I am grateful that you have chosen to be PAs and have chosen ATSU. What a difference your profession makes in our healthcare world, increasing access to the underserved, contributing to decreasing health disparities, contributing to scholarships, science, and collaborative care. PAs are present in times of healthcare crises and in times of relative calm. In short, PAs make a difference in the lives of so many. I have met so many wonderful PA students and PA faculty and clinicians who provide efficient, compassionate care throughout my lifetime. The passion that I see in your faculty, your chair, Dr. DeBase, your clinical directors, that commitment to providing you with the best possible education is powerful and ever present. I know you will accept your white coats today with pride, and that you all look forward to providing our communities with the warm, trusting, rigorous, and exceptional care that we expect of you as students until the day of graduation and beyond. I've had the privilege to travel recently with the PA team as they work steadily to organize, launch, and prepare your clinical and CHC rotations across the country, and where over the next couple years, your white coat will symbolize your readiness and commitment to the patients and communities you serve. One of the greatest parts of today, the white coat ceremony, is seeing all of the families and friends here supporting you, especially after what all of us have been through with the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic over the past year and a half. Each of you has your own version of why you feel so proud today of your son, daughter, sister, brother, mother, or father receiving their white coat. Class of 2023, celebrate this milestone in your journey, and once again, a heartfelt congratulations from me.
Thank you, Dr. Birch. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Norman Gevitz. Dr. Gevitz?
It was a good choice for you to become a physician assistant. Physician assistants are among the fastest growing health professions in the United States. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that the need for PAs will accelerate in the next 8 years. The number of PAs expected to be in practice will grow by 30%. You enter a young profession. It has only been 57 years since Duke University established the first PA program to train 4 former Navy medical corpsmen. Today, there are more than 250 physician assistant programs throughout the country, with more than 125,000 PAs in practice. Since 2007, all 50 states have passed legislation allowing PAs to prescribe. PAs are commissioned officers in all branches of the military and public health service, and numerous studies demonstrates that PAs provide highly competent and highly competent care and high patient satisfaction. Both Forbes magazine and Money magazine rate the physician assistant master's degree as, quote, the most desirable advanced degree in terms of employment opportunity, income potential, and job satisfaction. It is a good choice for you to become a physician assistant. It is also a good choice for you to obtain your education and your degree from the Physician Assistant Studies program at ATSU University. After our last site visit by ARC-PA, the accrediting body for PA programs, and ATSU's PA program not only achieved accreditation, but accreditation for the maximum number of years possible. Our accreditation site visitors took note of our university mission and our PA program's capacity to achieve our 4 goals. First, to foster an attitude of service to those less fortunate by cultivating a culture of compassion and service to the underserved. Second, to produce graduates who are well steeped in teamwork by providing interprofessional experiences. Third, to promote whole person health care by including elements of mind, body, and spirit across the curriculum. And fourth, to educate students in a learning-centered environment that promotes self-directed learning. We are a mission-oriented university, and our goal is to educate competent, caring, and holistically educated health practitioners. Today marks an important transition in your journey to become that type of practitioner. Congratulations to you all for receiving your white coat today.
Thank you, Dr. Gevitz. Today we are honored to welcome one of our recent graduates as our keynote speaker, Mr. Will Kupel. Will attended Georgia Southwestern State University in Americus, Georgia, and graduated July 2016 with a bachelor's degree in exercise science. A year later, he was accepted to ATSU University Master of Science in Physician Assistant Studies program here in Mesa. He graduated in August of 2019. Will is currently working for Albany Area Primary Health Care in Albany, Georgia. AAPHC is a community health center in Southwest Georgia that serves as one of the clinical sites for our second-year PA students. AAPHC is composed of 15 different clinics and services in 9 counties of Southwest Georgia. AAPHC offers its patients a wide array of care, including adult medicine, pediatrics, OBGYN, dental, behavioral health, vision care, podiatry, and pharmacy services. Will enjoys being a preceptor for students while on their mental health and family medicine rotations. Will currently works at AAPHC's newest clinic, Northwest Medical and Dental Clinic, where he practices family medicine 2 days a week. During the other 3 days of the week, Will works at AAPHC's Renaissance Center, where he practices behavioral health medicine. Will's interests include health and nutrition, addiction medicine, and extending care to those in local jails and prisons. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Will Kupel.
Good afternoon, friends, family, staff, and most importantly, the physician assistant class of 2023. You have made it. Congratulations. Let's give these students a round of applause. I would like to thank Dr. DeBase and the amazing ATSU faculty for this opportunity. I'm grateful that we can meet in person as the pandemic has taken a toll on all of us. We will get through this pandemic, and I encourage each and every one of you to do your part to ensure your safety and the safety of those around you. Also, I would like to acknowledge all of those who are here to support the students, family, friends, past colleagues, and anyone else who has been a part of each student's path to this exact moment. I know how much your constant encouragement and guidance has meant to these students up to this point. Students, close your eyes for just a moment. Close your eyes. Picture the people who have inspired you and supported you along this journey of becoming a PA student. Let's give these people a round of applause as well. It feels like just yesterday that I was in the exact spot you're in. I remember feeling very proud, almost arrogant, lucky to have gotten a seat, sort of smart, unsure of myself, and nervous all at the same time. Honestly, I was shocked that I was granted a seat. I felt like a total imposter. Some of you may feel this way, and that's okay. Looking back, I now realize that the uncertainty I felt was a good thing. It motivated me. Be patient during these next few months of your didactic training. I know that sitting in the classroom or on Zoom for long hours, practicing H&P and endless studying can be tough. Trust me, clinical year brings it all together when you're actually practicing medicine. Once I made it to clinical year, I found my way through my patients as I truly felt useful and connected on a deep level with many of them. When things get too tough over the next few months, pause, take a deep breath, go for a run, or go to the gym on campus. If you feel you just can't stand it anymore, go to Hertz Donuts over by ASU. Google it, just be sure not to wear your white coat when you're eating the donuts. Above all else, don't be too hard on yourself. Relax. You will make it through the didactic year. It is very challenging, but you will make it. It's up to you. Anything in life worth having is going to be hard, so don't give up. Take it one day at a time and just slow down. Just know that you are here because of who you are, not in spite of who you are. I'm going to say that one more time. Just know that you are here because of who you are, not in spite of who you are. You received a seat in this class for a reason. The amazing faculty at AT-STIL, seated beside me, see something extraordinary in each and every one of you. Trust the process, ask the questions now, and make the mistakes as a student, because soon you'll have the lives of your patients in your hands. Always remember your why for choosing this career path. Use your white coat and stand up for what you believe is right, even in the midst of controversy and judgment. When you put on this white coat in a few minutes, realize that it is a symbol of purity of being affirmed and becoming a healthcare professional. The white coat will grant you much privilege and respect. Use every ounce of the privilege it gives you to speak truth and truth to those you care for. Use the privilege in the hospital when you're discussing patients with your colleagues, and use it when you sense injustice or something just doesn't sit right with your soul. Realize the power of the white coat. To put into perspective how great of an accomplishment it is to have earned the privilege to wear the white coat, I would like to present some statistics from this year's application cycle. Your class's cohort was selected from a pool of 1,608 total applicants. According to admission data, of the 1,600 total applicants, only 360 applicants were awarded an interview. Of the 360 individuals that were interviewed, only 70 were awarded a seat in the PA class of 2023. This equates to a 4.4% acceptance rate. Welcome, you have earned your seat. As I said earlier, you are here for a reason, and even if you feel like an imposter sometimes, just know that we believe in you. This is a monumental milestone in your life, and I sincerely welcome you to the greatest career choice in the world. U.S. News agrees with your choice of career and ranks PAs as the #1 job in America. Not only do we get to help people in their weakest moments, but we also get to study the most interesting, challenging, and ever-changing subject in the world, medicine. The journey on which you've embarked will be full of ups and downs, highs and lows, triumphs and failures. However, each day will result in you getting closer to becoming an integral member of the noblest profession in the world, a medical provider. We as a profession need you. We need PAs with fresh ideas, and we need you to hold us accountable to a society that trusts us with the highest of callings, to diminish suffering and promote health. As I searched for inspiration for my speech to y'all, I thought who better to exemplify our school's mission than the founder himself. Founder Andrew Taylor Still, also known as the father of osteopathic medicine, found his calling to become a physician when he was 25 years old. It was common practice in those days for a would-be doctor to train by working with a practicing physician. In this case, A.T. Still trained under his father, who was a physician and a Methodist minister. Still trained alongside his father until 1861 when the Civil War began. He served in the Union Army as a hospital steward, but later stated in his autobiography that he served as a de facto surgeon. In 1864, Dr. Still returned from the Civil War and faced a grave personal crisis. Earlier that year, an epidemic of spinal meningitis had swept through the area and killed 3 of his children. He had already lost his wife to childbirth complications. Later, his daughter died of pneumonia. These tragedies led Dr. Still to reject much of what he had learned about medicine. Dr. Still knew that preventative medicine was essential. He began to focus on treating the patient as a whole instead of focusing only on the disease. We can learn so much from A.T. Still's decision to reject modern medicine. From the beginning, Dr. Still was met with considerable opposition to his new theories and techniques. When Dr. Still asked to present his ideas at Baker University, which his family had helped to establish in the 1850s, school officials refused him permission. His brothers even called him crazy. Still realized that healing encompassed much more than drugs and surgery. He knew that the body, mind, and spirit were interconnected. He was willing to risk his career and the acceptance of his family for his convictions. As you begin this journey, I challenge you to stand up for what you believe and to advocate for your patients, even when it is not convenient for you. Your patients need you, and if you don't advocate for them, who will? I've seen this time and time again, as I have a unique position at working at a CHC in rural Southwest Georgia. 3 days a week, I work on the right side of the building in mental health, and the other 2 days of the week, I work on the left side of the building in family medicine. When I first began my job, it was evident to me that there was a lack of communication between the medical providers and the mental health providers. Labs are generally done by the medical providers, and the mental health providers stick to prescribing drugs and doing therapy, as mental health only deals with the neck up, is what one nurse told me when I first started working. We must bridge the gap between mental health care and medical care, as it has become evident during my short time in practice that they are truly interwoven. This is another reason why I believe A.T. Still University is the best choice for your education. They get it. Integrative healthcare is the future of medicine, and it is up to our generation to bring this to fruition. Especially in an underserved area, it is important to realize the interconnection of the body, mind, and spirit. For example, I've seen multiple patients who come to see me on the mental health side who have not seen a primary care provider in years. Many of these patients who present with depression and anxiety have comorbidities that must be treated under the care of a primary care provider. One of my patients presented to the mental health clinic for depression, and after gathering the history, I determined that she needed to be screened for organic causes of her depression. Her labs came back abnormal as her A1C was 14. 14 is really high. Once her diabetes was treated, her depression lifted and she felt much better. We must consider every aspect of our patient's health. I have to be frugal, as many of my patients simply cannot afford to see a primary care provider and a mental health provider in the same month. Thankfully, my education here at A.T. Still University has given me the tools necessary to think logically and systematically to figure out the best way to accomplish integrative care for my underserved patients. The body, mind, and spirit are truly interwoven. We must take back healthcare and bring it back to the roots of which Dr. Still fought so hard. We must get back to the basics. I challenge you students to listen to your patients, as they will always give you important clues to their diagnosis if you simply take the time to listen. Listening is the most important tool that you have available to you. Another one of my patients who presented to the mental health clinic had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder at a young age and failed multiple drug regimens over the previous 20 years. After listening to my patient, it was clear that he had a long history of substance abuse and needed to address this issue before we could diagnose him with bipolar. Today, I'm proud to say that this patient is now 1 year sober and not taking any psychiatric medications. He is now enrolled in a local EMS school and plans to give back to our community. Medicine is an art, and we must realize that there are times when we do not need to prescribe medications. Patients need to be heard, and we must listen and give them our undivided attention. Do not become so arrogant that you forget to listen to the patient. Also, don't forget to ask for help when you need it. Always err on the side of caution, as I have learned that haste often makes mistakes. Take your time when you're dealing with your patients, as you may be the only person they have to talk to. Personally, I know how great of an influence a compassionate healthcare provider can make on one's life. During a very tough time in my life, my primary care provider took the time to listen to me. Simply by listening, he made a huge impact on my life. Let me explain. My journey to PA school was unique, to say the least. Like many of your journeys, mine was full of ups and downs, highs and lows. Luckily, the great faculty here at ATSU gave me a chance to pursue my dream of becoming a provider to my underserved community in rural Southwest Georgia. I'm proud that I was the first hometown scholar for my community. Growing up, I had a great support system in my family and even attended a private college prep high school. After graduating high school, I did just what I had planned, and that was to attend a four-year college to obtain my bachelor's degree. At this point in my life, I was not very focused on the right things, as many 18-year-olds are not. I decided quickly that I wanted to major in booze, minoring sleeping late, avoiding 8 a.m. classes, and doing as little as possible. I quickly joined a fraternity and became a legend, in my own mind at least. Eventually, the drinking began to get out of control, and I began dropping classes in order to avoid receiving the feared F on my transcript. This cycle continued for the next few years until I was injured one drunken night, and this is where the story gets interesting. I was prescribed narcotics, and I began to take the pain pills excessively. I quickly became addicted. When the prescription ran out, the addiction had already taken root, so I began looking to outside sources for my pain pills. As time went on, the party turned into an absolute nightmare. I became extremely baffled as to what was happening to me as I was turning into a hermit and began isolating myself. I simply couldn't stand being around people, and the only thing that relieved my anxieties were more pills. My family became very concerned as I became a recluse and wanted to be alone all the time. The joy of life had been sapped out of me. I felt like a soulless person looking for my purpose in the world. Over the next 6 years, my struggle with addiction and depression began to grow deeper and deeper, and I became hopeless and more dependent on the pain pills. Eventually, my girlfriend, who I've been dating for the past 8 years, had had enough of my behavior and decided it was time for her to move on, which was the best thing she could have done at the time. At this point, life became much more of a chore. I would wake up each morning and think, here we go again. Over the next few months, I found out my ex-girlfriend was engaged to someone else, and my parents were also having some problems. I'd given up on life and was ready to die as my addiction had won, as I could not figure out how to get sober, as I had tried time and time again. I gave up on school and didn't even bother to drop my classes, and received 4 Fs the last semester I attended college before I got help. My addiction had taken me from a normal, outgoing personality to a very dark and twisted perspective. At my rock bottom, I was arrested and put into the local jail for 1 month. My own mother called the police as I had resorted to stealing from the family to support my habit. Mom knew that I was in a terrible spot, and this was the only way she knew to help me. I'm so glad she did, as I was offered by the local sheriff to go to a halfway house for young men struggling with substance abuse issues. I got a sponsor and worked the 12 steps, and the God of my childhood, Jesus Christ, began doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. I was finally able to stay sober and experience joy for the first time in 6 years. When my time at the halfway house came to an end, my confidence was back in full swing. I felt I could conquer the world. I began to pray for direction, and I felt a still, small, quiet voice telling me to pursue my dream of becoming a healthcare provider. There are many what-ifs and uncertainties as I decided to pursue this dream of mine. Like Andrew Taylor Steele's family, my family members and close friends tried discouraging me from this crazy idea. I knew deep down, though, this was my shot to really do what I wanted. I felt it was my true calling, so I decided to go for it. Once I stepped out on faith, God began opening doors very swiftly. I was hired at the local psychiatric unit and realized that I had a unique ability to connect with the patients, especially the addicts who are extremely lost in their disease. I got a feeling unlike I had ever had in my life, and this was the affirmation I needed to push forward with my goal of becoming a provider. I knew I was being called to a higher purpose and a career in medicine. Caring for these patients energized my soul, and I knew this was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Like A.T. Steele, I knew that we were not giving adequate care to patients. I knew I had to become a professional in the mental health field to really make a difference. In life, we all face troubles at some point, and we must decide if we will be a better or a worse person because of them. I truly believe that we can learn from these difficult times in our lives. For me, I realized the burden of addiction not only on the individual, but also on the family of the addicted and on society as a whole. During the period of September 2019 through August of 2020, there were 88,295 predicted deaths from substance abuse. a record high that is almost 19,000 more deaths, or 27% more than the prior 12-month period. Over 70% of drug overdoses in 2019 involved an opioid. 3 of those deaths were my friends at the halfway house. At current rates, by the time of the presidential election in 2028, more Americans will have died in the 21st century of drug overdoses than have died in all of America's wars over its entire history. In addition, Americans make up 4% of the world's population, and we as a nation consume 90% of the opioids. These horrifying statistics have at least focused attention on this neglected crisis. During my time in the clinic, I've seen many addicts coming into my office who have previously been diagnosed as bipolar or schizophrenic, when in fact the root cause of their mental health issue is their addiction. While I realize patients with schizophrenia and bipolar frequently abuse drugs, we must be careful when labeling our patients with such a life-changing diagnosis. Many times the problem can be traced to drug abuse. We cannot medicate our way out of this crisis. We must honor our patients by listening and taking a very detailed history. I believe this is part of the solution to the overdose crisis. I heard a saying in an AA meeting that really struck a chord with me. God will not do for you what you can do for yourself, but he will often do for you what you cannot do for yourself. With that being said, I challenge you to put in the long, difficult hours studying and doing all that you can do to ensure you are learning the material to the best of your ability. Leave the rest up to your higher power and trust the process. You'll be amazed at how fulfilling this career is. Sure, there will be days that are extremely long and difficult, but I can tell you from experience, if you push past the fear and push forward, you'll be amazed. All of the great things in life are on the other side of fear, so I challenge you, students, rise to the occasion, put in the hard work now, and push through your training. When you receive the PAC designation, you will realize that all of your hard work was truly worth it. Remember to use your white coat to speak the truth, not only for yourself, but also for your patients. Never forget to take the time to listen to your patients, especially the addicts and those difficult patients, as you may be the only person the patient has to talk to. Remember when dealing with angry patients that anger is often a secondary emotion stemming from fear or anxiety, so give these patients grace and listen. If you don't take the time to listen and act accordingly, who will? Thanks for your attention, and I truly wish you all the best in your future career as PAs. Stay safe during this pandemic and set a good example for the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. It's now, pardon me, you have me all verklempt. It's now time for the presentation of the white coats. I'd like to invite Dr. Linda McConnell to come forward. She will be reading the students' names as they come on stage. Dr. Ray Pavlik will join me in assisting the students don their white coats.
Catherine Elavia, Diana Awad, Andrew Ryan Barrios, Priyanka Bukta, Shalili Bakhta, Alex Vlasak, Joseph Brady, Paige Brewstus, Asana Bryant, Vivian Mai Bui. Jasmine Chaudhary. Taylor Christensen. Margaret Conry. Sydney Alicia Covarrubias. Norman D. Dean, Jr. Kieran Doherty. Marina Leela Doost. Haley Everode. Cheyenne Hakimi. Sabrina Rose Farrell. Torina Joanne Fight. Rochelle Petrea Flores. Shannon George. Raj Kamal Kaur Gill. Megan Gipe. Maria Holden. Joshua Charles Devon Holton. Alexandra Isabel Hopen. Joe Sao. Alice Wuan and Nilu Jalili. Brenna James and Ian Mark Johnson. Hallie Kane and Hannah Marie Kingstad. Natalie Klein. Celeste Alexandra Kleinman. Geraldine Marie Coons. Brittany Nicole Lebeco. Paul Lim. Sharon Liu, Jeanette Kathleen Luke.
Collectively, you and your team, with the support of internal and external resources, can take care of just about anything and anyone that comes your way. It just takes a leader in a white coat. Collectively, you and your team, with the support of internal and external resources, voice for the first time, can take care of just about grandmother separated from her family and confused that comes your way. A businessman just takes a leader to the brink of suicide. Collectively, you and your team, cancer diagnosis, grandmother's voice for the first time, can take care of just about grandmother separated from her family and deep joy that comes your way. A business just takes a leader to the brink of suicide. Collectively, you and your team, cancer diagnosis, grandmother's voice for the first time, can take care of just about the original white coat family and you're probably going to want to watch it. That business just takes a leader to remind you of why you collectively you and your team cancer diagnosis, grandmother's voice. Some people have cancer, just about grandmother have careers. You have a calling. The coat will continue to remind you of your grateful patients, family and friends, faculty and staff who help you along life's journey. It's also great to take that program and put it in here, right? Because it reminds you of who your classmates were someday when maybe your memory is, many, many, many years down the road. You can point out, I remember them, pretty cool stuff. It also has the supporters, and I think it mentions your faculty and staff in there. So something great to keep. Wow, you're gonna have a great rest of the evening. There may be some of you there that are here and didn't have a parent or friend come. So I'd encourage you out in the audience, if you find a student that didn't have somebody from their family come today, that you might include them in your evening plans and maybe reach out to them. But what a wonderful day, what a wonderful future. We get to meet back here, and I think it's 21 months, right? Not here, but 21 months in Mays for graduation. So you got a lot to learn. Let's get going. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Phelps. That concludes our white coat ceremony for the class of 2023. Thank you for joining us today. For the audience, please allow the students to recess before exiting the auditorium. Thank you.